Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, this week, after their playoff hopes have been diced down, the Houston Texans have to go on the road and face the Indianapolis Colts right around 2 weeks after they already played them. So, before I get into all what needs to go on in that matchup, let me just go ahead and do a quick recap from last Sunday's game and to go over a few notes as well. So very, very quick recap from week 14. Listen, flat out, the Texans just looked like they were ready for the season to end. They got beat in every phase of the game. But, they were missing, I believe they were missing a lot of weapons too. So, yeah, of course, that's going to take a toll on them. But, quite frankly, they just looked like they were just ready for it to be over. Um, it was just an uncompetitive battle, 36-7. They gave up big play after big play. So, um, just a bad performance overall by this team. And that says a lot considering how many bad performances this team has had this year. So it is what it is. Texans are officially out of the playoffs. So now we got to turn to these other news items to kind of look forward to. So we can have something to look forward to for the season. So, excuse me. First thing I want to touch on is this topic about Louis Riddick being interviewed for the job. So he got interviewed for the job for the Texans general manager job this week, and there's a couple of things I was just kind of just looking over for him. One thing that I took away from it is he has a great resume as a scout. His two of his I think his previous two stops he was a scout for the Redskins or Washington football team, if you will, back in '01, and then they promoted him to director of pro personnel. He took another scouting job with the Eagles, I think back in '08, if I'm going off the top of my head, and like the year after that, they promoted him to assistant pro personnel. Then the following year, he got promoted to director of pro personnel. So that was another thing that I kind of took away from his resume. Every time he went there, he was promoted. Which shows me he came in on the sort of entry level, then he just worked his way to the top. They thought high enough of him to do so. So. Kudos to him on that. Obviously, he doesn't need it from me, but it was just a great thing to know. Another thing that I just kind of took notice about was he's a TV star, and now it seems like these guys are jumping from the booth back into either the front office, coaching office, or whatever. I look at the Raiders. They hired Mike Mayock, and they have Mike Mayock and John Gruden actually over there running things right now. And so Mayock, he's a former NFL Network analyst or whatever. I think he even commentated the Texans first playoff game, one of the playoff games with the Bengals. John Gruden, obviously, everybody knows about what he's done on Monday Night Football for a number of years, and so it's ironic that you got those two former TV guys just kind of leading the way for that Raiders franchise, and to touch on that a little bit, they're doing all right. Gruden, he has his 10-year thing, and so I think it's year 3 of it, and so they're getting that process moving along. Point I'm making is, if there's any doubt about whether or not a guy from if a guy coming in from TV straight into the front office into a front office gig can be an issue. I don't think that really, matters. I think Mayock proves that was going to be my example as that really shouldn't matter too much. And plus Riddick, he seems like a very insightful guy, very intelligent guy. So, I mean, all we can do is just like, just give him a shot really and see like how it goes. I mean, it's not like it's not like he's gonna trade away our best player for a bag of Fritos. So I think he's kind of seen the backlash of what would happen with that. So he'll be all right with that. I don't think we can do any worse than what we did with O'Brien as the GM. So I'm willing to see like what other candidates are out there compared to him and see if he'll like rise up as like the best candidate. Even if he is a first choice candidate, like I said, his resume seems pretty solid from what I can tell. So definitely looking forward to how that decision plays out. So moving on to the next topic, man. Sorry about the energy drink break. Long day with getting my long evening dealing with my car. So, but yeah, moving on to the next topic. Cleaning the attic of all these players. So it's this time of year again. I probably mentioned this on here before somewhere else, but around this holiday season, end of the year holiday season at least, a lot of us, we got time off from work, so we got to straighten stuff up around the house. Part of that straightening up includes cleaning out the closets, cleaning out the attics. Probably already cleaned out the attics and basements, to pull out the Christmas decorations and all the Thanksgiving decorations if you're into that. So same thing with football. A lot of these teams, just like the Texans, they missed out on the playoffs, and so they're heading into then the next season with a whole bunch of uncertainty, like who's here, who do we want to get away. Pretty much is like just looking at the talent of who do you want to throw away, whether it's in a free agency, whether it's through trade, and who do you want to keep. For the Texans, I think those last two statements of throwing away and keeping, it perfectly applies to what's going on right now as far as like, who do we want to throw away for this new regime coming in, and who do we really want to keep. Which one of these players are going to be the guys that's going to step up in these last couple of games to show the new GM, what they're really about. Show the new GM that this is that there's someone that they can build off of. Excuse me. So yeah, same thing with the new coach. So these players are going to want to play for their careers, whether it's for somewhere else or for here exactly. So definitely going to be examining of what to throw away, what to keep. As far as what area must be addressed, I'm kind of conflicted because yes, wide receiver, it wasn't what we expected. Obviously, running back definitely needs some major issues there. Defense, I think the defense could use a little bit of retooling. I'm not gonna lie. So it's all about like what area has to be addressed. Even with the O-line, just a little bit of improvement here and there. I think when you look at this entire team, a lot of retooling is going to be done in the off season. That's just straight up the way the record panned out and everything, and the aftermath of all the coaches getting fired and all this other stuff. I think a lot of retooling is going to be addressed. Definitely, I would like to see the wide receiver issue. I would like to see that addressed a little bit more this coming off season, only because we have a quarterback, very talented, but he can't do it on his own. That was some of the biggest gripes this week from the fan base, from the whether the reporters or the commentators. It was like Watson, he can't do it on his own, and he's very talented, but I mean, he is going to need some help. So, I think the wide receiver thing definitely has to be. I think the wide receiver issue definitely has to be addressed. There have been times, I remember for a number of years, a lot of the complaints was that Andre Johnson never had a true number 2 receiver. They try to throw different guys in there or whatever, but it just never panned out for him to have a number 2 receiver. I think in this particular case, the Texans need to be looking for a number 1 receiver, somebody to go back to that DeAndre Hopkins level of receiver. Maybe to like draw our attention away and like open up some plays for the other receivers, but something close to that at least that has to be addressed this coming off season, whether through free agency or through the draft as well. So that's what I think needs to be addressed. The second thing, running back for sure, because as much I think the wide receiver is important for the benefit of the quarterback. But even then, I might just have to go back and say it. I think the running back might have to take a little bit more precedent over the wide receiver. Only because while it might seem like this league is super pass happy and all this other stuff, you still need some type of running game to, help close games out. In case, the wide receivers are covered down the field, you need that weapon that can come out the backfield and catch the ball as a check down, which will help like set up longer drives, either through the flat routes or through screen plays and all that other stuff. So I definitely think the running game, I was talking a bunch of junk about, the wide receiver, blah, blah, blah. Nah, I'm changing it. The running game definitely has to be addressed. We do need a running back. Maybe they don't have to be, a premier running back. They don't have to be a feature back. Maybe we can get like a 1-2 running back combination, but we do have to address the running game, just to help us win more games. And that's just the bottom line of what that is. So, last small little news item, sitting Deshaun Watson. So that was that seemed like a big debate over the week from various Texans affiliated accounts. And I got my pros and cons about this. So here's my pros for sitting Deshaun Watson. You're protecting the franchise quarterback from injury. You're resting his body. You're maintaining his health. And you're protecting the franchise quarterback. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. I'm going to just put out my cons for the sake of being fair. The cons is you're taking him out of a hell of a season. You're increasing the chances of losing and making the first round picks to Miami more valuable. So let me just go back to my pros and stop bull jiving y'all. They need to sit Deshaun Watson very, very soon. We're 3 games left into the season. The playoffs are done. And pretty much like in theory, a lot of people, a lot of analysts say like, they can salvage their season by beating the division rival and taking them out of the playoffs. Listen, man, you want to take the division rival out of the best way to take the division rival out of the playoffs is to beat them head up while you're going for your own playoff spot. That's probably the more satisfying. I'm pretty sure that's probably the more satisfying aspect for a professional team, as opposed to just beating a division rival to interrupt their playoff chance, or play spoiler to their playoff chances, and going home instead of actually like spoiling the division rivals' playoff chances and advancing into the playoffs yourself. Look, like all that, tripping the Colts up on their way to the playoffs, tripping the Titans up on their way to the playoffs. Like, that sounds good and dandy and like morale and all that stuff, but I'm pretty sure this team would rather be competing in the playoffs as opposed to just like beating the team and just sitting them make a damn near make a goddamn Super Bowl run. That's pretty crazy, watching the team that you beat make a Super Bowl run. So the point I'm making before I ramble off into that is that, look, man, just sit Deshaun Watson. We have nothing else to win. We have nothing else to lose. The season is mathematically is done. Just protect him just protect him from any and all types of injuries. Because you don't want to have an injured franchise quarterback going into next season with a new general manager and a new head coach. Or you don't want to have an injured franchise quarterback while you're looking for a general manager and looking for a new head coach. That's something that's probably going to turn them away because they feel like, they have a huge task ahead of them to either, fix this right away or just kind of wait out and just kind of let it linger on for whatever. So make sure the franchise quarterback is healthy at all costs, even if that means sitting them down, signing somebody off the street to make sure you have some, enough on the active roster or whatever. But yeah, just make sure he's healthy. Go ahead, send him down. He's earned his break. A lot of these players have earned their breaks. Justin Reed, he's out. He's out for the quote unquote season, but just sit him down before anybody. After you sit him down, then just kind of look through and be like, okay, who else we got? So anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and go into this quote unquote game plan. Texans lost to the Colts 26-20. This was the game where the Texans were knocking on the door of the goal line, and Nick Martin just gave a bad snap to Deshaun Watson. So they ended up losing that game on that. Just a couple things. If the Texans really want to win this game, number one, continue working with the duo of Chad Henson and Kiki Kuti. Both of them had 100 yards receiving apiece in their last game against the Colts. So see if you can explore that again and exploit those matchups that they had on them. Number two, play loose. All the pressure is on the Colts. They're the ones in the playoffs trying to hold on to that playoff spot, trying to get that AFC South crown. So all the pressure is on them. If they lose this game, they lose a spot or they get knocked down a notch. Texans lose this game, nothing happens. So play loose. All the pressure is on them. Also, number three and last thing, just take advantage of this time, man. If you're not named Watson or Watt, just take advantage of this time right now. It's a microscope into who can help the new regime come in and do work. So if, new GM, new head coach see that, you're out there busting your behind when there's 3 games left and no playoffs in sight, they're going to take a liking to that. They're probably, going to take care of you, keep you on. If they have to trade you, they'll trade you to a contender or something like that. Just take advantage of this time and, just do what it do. So, continue working with Chad Henson and Kiki Kuti. Play loose, take advantage of this time. Texans want to win this game. They just got to do those 3 things right there. So, that's all I got for you this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. If you're watching this on Facebook, like my page, facebook.com/BrandonBlog. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to this channel, like this video as well. Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.